I'm Sunshine Coward and I'm Head of Art at Haverstock School. My GCSE students come from a really wide range of backgrounds, from white middle class to African Somali, Bangladeshi, and there tends to be more girls than boys in terms of uptake in GCSE art. For many of my students, art's not promoted within their culture, so my students, a fair few of them are directed by their parents to take up maths, English and science because they're seen as subjects that will get them careers and jobs at the end of their education. But my students are battling against that. They love art, they love exploring ways of expressing themselves visually, working with different materials. It is a subject that can boost their confidence, whereas other subject areas might not.
We always want to get students involved in places that they may not otherwise have visited, and in finding out about what happens around the school, but not just immediately around the school, but particularly in London, because for our students that's very, very important. A lot of them are only aware of their immediate surroundings, and they're certainly not aware of places like the National Portrait Gallery. The opportunity for them to be involved in something which probably meant nothing to them initially, they wouldn't have heard of the National Portrait Gallery, but for them to be able to take part in something that is so prestigious, which they wouldn't have understood about until they got involved, was very, very important for us. We could see the value of it, certainly before they would.
When we first got involved with this project, I was initially quite apprehensive about it because it's always a risk as a teacher working with a group of exam students with an outside agency that you haven't worked with before. And usually we don't take that risk. We'll work with younger students, Key Stage 3 students, but not the GCSE students. It's always a risk working with artists as well. Some people are wonderful artists, but they're not particularly good at imparting their knowledge to young people. Kate Peters, obviously, I could say that she's got the best of both worlds. She's a great photographer, but she was brilliant working with our students and making it clear what they had to do and breaking it down into 6 workshops that they did with her.
For me, one of the benefits of this project has been to see art as process as well as product. And I think galleries tend to have a product kind of implication in our minds, and what this project has allowed us to do is to get behind the product and look at the process. And I know that our students have understood art from a process perspective, and I think that's a really significant intellectual step in learning.
This has highlighted an institution that they're going to return to for life. They've brought their parents to it, they've brought their friends to it, they've got their work in it. It's really boosted their confidence, their knowledge of the area. It's brought with them skills that they didn't know they had. Their photography skills, they've done black and white processing, all kinds of interesting techniques. They've worked with a top photographer. It's been a sort of networking time for them now as well, because some of our students have come back to the National Portrait Gallery and they're taking part in Youth Forum. And it's also, for some of our students, now given them a sense of purpose, and a few of my students are determined that their future career lies in either photography or art.
It was a fantastic opportunity to think that we could work with a world-class gallery, but from the initial meeting I knew this would be bigger than that, and the project as it's unravelled and unrolled, it's produced opportunities for this school and for our community that I didn't think were possible, and the end result was absolutely stunning. What
was amazing at the end was actually seeing their faces, watching other people looking at their work, because for them to feel that it was of value not just to them, not just perhaps to their parents, who probably would normally have been the only people seeing the kind of things they do, but that other people they'd never met, people outside, people wandering into the gallery, were actually impressed with what they had achieved. That was wonderful.